So disclaimer, we're now recording. We've been working with organizations on implementing PeopleSoft-based eForms since 2003. So 17 years, 18 years of helping organizations drive efficient, effective online self-service solutions, custom self-service solutions using workflow-enabled eForms. And that's really become our focus over the last 18 years is helping folks revolutionize what they can do with PeopleSoft through those kinds of online tools and online solutions, extending PeopleSoft dramatically to allow clients to work simply, effectively, efficiently, and flexibly. And it is the only forms tool that's certified for PeopleSoft by Oracle. There is a brand new logo underneath the Gideon Taylor there, and that's something that we're in the process of announcing. We recently merged with Newbery Consulting Group, and our new division is now Newbery Enterprise Services. For those of you not familiar with the Newbery name, they are a PeopleSoft consultancy that has specialized in PeopleSoft implementations, upgrades, hosting, and managed services for the last 15 years. And they also have an RPA, robotic process automation practice, specializing in UiPath, an emerging industry-leading, well, can you be both of those at the same time? Industry-leading solution for robotic process automation solutions that just went public last week. You'll be hearing a lot more in the industry about UiPath, and we're excited to have Newbery as part of our GT family. So we're going to be talking about GT eForms on this particular session, but we are also specialists in really any kind of tool that provides custom automation opportunities within PeopleSoft, whether that is activity guides and guided self-service, page generator, questionnaire and acknowledgement frameworks, drop zones, event mapping, the PeopleSoft Forms Approval Builder that we talked about a little while ago, and obviously custom fluid development, leveraging the approval framework. GT eForms is a configuration-based tool that lives inside your PeopleSoft system, and that's what we're going to be demonstrating here across a few different demos, some different solutions that organizations have created using the GT eForms tool. As we go along, we'll point out some of the differentiators between what GT eForms enables and what the PeopleSoft Forms tool enables. Namely, pre-population is a huge one, and conditional behavior. Just being able to drive a more efficient, more effective user experience using dynamic, intelligent forms as opposed to static PeopleSoft forms using the delivered Forms Approval Builder. And then it's got unlimited extensibility. Since it is People Tools based, you can really do anything with GT eForms that you might want to meet any kind of business requirement you might have. These are just some quick screenshots of eForms. The one in the back there is just an acknowledgement eForm with some rich text formatted in there and an acknowledgement button at the bottom. The one over here allows for pre-population of course data. It allows for faculty members to submit course descriptions, new course requests to the course catalog. It's got a formatting tool down here actually embedded within the form, which is pretty cool. This is GT Analytics. It allows for a bird's eye view of eForms activity and performance across the enterprise. Here's a questionnaire created for incoming students using GT eForms. And this is just a simple security access request eForm that was created. All right, that's my preamble. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing. I'll let you share, Ashley. Ashley Tutera is one of our senior business analysts, and she works with clients almost every single day. She's gonna be sharing a quick demonstration of a form that she was involved in creating with St. Paul Public Schools here in my home state of Minnesota. Ashley, take it away.
Thanks, Scott. Hello, everybody. So mileage report form. So this was an awesome solution that we built for St. Paul Public School. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background on it. And then I jumped ahead in the video, so you won't see the whole video, but this is on our YouTube page. So you can see it was kind of a 2-for-1 form that we ended up building. So because it was a public school district, their staff member often had to submit mileage reports once a month. So something that we arranged for them is we needed to make sure that we had a solution that was flexible, that for the staff member that maybe once a month they had to drive in during the off hours from their home for some type of meeting, We wanted it quick for them to be able to enter their mileage report, but also heavy users that split their time between districts. Every day they're going back and forth between schools. They had a lot of mileage report lines that they needed to submit every month. So we wanted it to be really robust so they could do a lot of entries. So what we came up with was a pre-form, essentially, which was a mileage profile. So the users were able to come in and give some basic information. What is the average starting location that they're going to be at to make it quick to come in and do this report? They also needed to indicate who is going to be approving the mileage reports. So who was their principal or who was the manager that they've reported to that would be signing off on the reports. And they also could preset where the mileage reports got taken out of, and they had up to 3 budget codes that they were able to put in. So all of that is in this video. I won't be showing you any of that because that's not where the magic of this form was. So the real magic that shows how great eForms is this actual mileage section. So there's other parts to this mileage report form that, again, you can see in the full video, but this was the bread and butter of what you're seeing right now. So they were able to say what date they were driven. We did this copy feature. I'll say that in 1 second. Then they were able to put in their starting location, so their from address, and then their to address. Then they're able to click a map. So we actually have Google Maps integration. So you'll see that in a second. You can click that view map button and it will calculate not only the distance between these two, but will show you what that route was and show you, just like Google Maps does, any alternative routes. So once you're ready and you have all your reports, we then actually pull in that Google miles. But because we know some people don't want to take the freeways, some people want to take surface streets, you're able to click that view map and see, oh, it said it was 5 miles. I definitely drove longer than that. You can go and see how far you actually drove, and you can even correct it and say, this is the true distance that I did. And then one of their requirements was always to indicate what the purpose was. And there were a couple of purposes that were just average. So we put it in a drop-down list. But then for flexibility, we did give in other options so they could type in whatever that purpose was. So I'm going to show you this a little bit in action. There's a lot of edits around this because
I think we just lost Ashley.
Oh, now she's entirely gone. So hang on a second.
No, the nice thing is that if this happened in real life, it would be a lot more serious.
Right. To lose Ashley.
Just froze up on the stage.
Let me bring up I've got a video of the, oh, maybe she's joining again. No, I don't see her.
One question I have, and I'm sure you can do it, it sounds like you can do everything with this, is we have a lot of kind of conditions with our mileage, and with more remote work, we're having more and more people submit mileage requests that are not allowed per policy. So can you do things like, is this your normal commute, or are you a remote worker, like even just some kind of attestations or check boxes, things like that? Or do you have any suggestions for those kinds of?
Every one of these people have their own little thing that they can do. And
sorry, can we put Michael, can you jump on mute? There we go. I think you got it. So I think the answer, Christy, is yes. I mean, definitely the answer is yes. In fact, those kinds of attestations we have a feature to support adding them, and it can be added by functional users. So that's
Nice.
Really easy to put together.
Thank you.
So these are some of the the features that Ashley spoke to very briefly on the form, including budget codes, being able to set those up so that they accurately present within the form itself and default where appropriate. This is what the user experience looks like when somebody is going in and setting up their mileage profile. These are some of the things that Ashley was going to skip over, but I'll just show you what it looks like. So in terms of looking at what GT eForms can deliver out of the box versus what the PeopleSoft Forms tool can. So you've got pre-population. You've got all this data that's automatically filling in the form itself without having to worry about technical development with event mapping. This is all configuration based. You can have these fields be editable or not editable. In the case of the PeopleSoft Forms tool, you're restricted to have everything be editable either through the entire form approval process or only until the submitter completes the form and then submits it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's an all or nothing in terms of whether or not you can have fields editable or non-editable. Here we've got rich text. That's all formatted, configuration-based to be able to insert text anywhere in your form, pages, segments, in between fields, wherever that happens to be. You've got calculations here that are occurring, as well as the validations that Christy talked about, being able to put edits in here to make sure that policy is being adhered to and the process is being followed. So the user's filling this out. We've got prompt values that they can select from. Those are derived based on tables within PeopleSoft. We can restrict prompt values so that we're only showing them relevant values for the location in which they work, for the department in which they work, whatever the case might be. So you saw there the red, it was catching issues or errors. There's a total percentage. So we need to make sure that, that those fields total 100, they don't exceed or they don't produce a full 100%. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward again. So this is the mileage reporting form. So we've got the profile form and then the reporting form. You see a lot of stuff going on this page. If I back up and so here, oh, it scrolls so fast. Hang on. So we've got information again that's pretty populated on this page. We've got instructional text. We've got links. We've got hyperlinks that will bring the user out to additional information. We've got grids. Grids are not supported by the PeopleSoft Forms tool, no way, no how. That grids are also configuration based within GT eForms. You've got acknowledgements down here, which also enforce policy. So the user cannot advance on the form until they actually acknowledge this particular statement. That's all configuration based. Calculating Google distances. This is a really cool integration that unfortunately I can't do justice to.
I'm sorry, Scott, I'm back on. I'm so sorry, my internet completely dropped.
Ashley, welcome back.
I am unfortunately on my phone, but I can navigate if you need me to.
So are you able to see what I'm presenting or?
Yes.
Okay. So where would you like me to advance to?
If you can hop to around the 8-minute mark.
Oh, wow, you're good.
Let me see. I think my audio for my computer is back on.
This is a 6-minute video. so let me.
It'll be a short demo then.
Right. Are you looking at getting back to like this table? This grid? Ashley?
Ashley?
Oh, am I here? Can you hear me again?
We can hear you now, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. Okay, yes, this is perfect.
Okay. Do you want me to play?
Okay.
Or?
So again, you can go ahead and play. Yes, I will talk over it. Again, I'm so sorry for that issue. So what we're seeing here is the meat of this form. So you're able to add these grids. You'll see that to location on the row above became your from location. And then you're going to see the masterpiece right here. Really, we have this whole form filled out and we're going to calculate those Google distances. It's going to take a second and it's going to pull in. It looks to Google Maps and says what's the from address, the to address, and what the distance is between. However, some people like to take, surface streets instead of highways. So you can click view map and see all of the options. And on that one that we were able to see, they didn't take the fastest route. They took a little further route. So they were able to update it and it kept all of those total miles and amounts in place for you and did the calculations. And then what happened at the end of this form, you can go ahead and pause it here. So what happened at the end, once you put in your mileage, it then went to custom tables that St. Paul created. And what they did when they created it was because they wanted these mileage reimbursements to go to pay lines, but they wanted to not interfere with their usual payroll process. So we put it to a custom table so that way every other week when they did payroll, they were still able to do their normal payroll process and reconcile. And then once they were ready to add in the mileage reimbursements, they had a custom button that would pull in all of those values so that it would be reimbursed every other week.
Awesome. Ashley, I'm so glad you joined again. Thank you. So that is a very quick run through of the mileage profile and reimbursement forms of St. Paul Public Schools. I'm going to do a very quick demo of, if I can get back to it now, of a Chartfield maintenance form that University of South Carolina uses. We worked with them on creating this particular form. There are a lot of clients that will obviously build out their own forms, and then there are some that will tap us for assistance, either building the entire form for them or helping them with unique aspects of development or integration within the form process that they're automating. So here we're navigating from a user's perspective to South Carolina's Chartfield maintenance form. And you will see that in just a sec here. We're going to go ahead and there are a couple of different functions that this form allows for. One is creating new crosswalk entries. Another one is inactivating those. You see when the form initially opens that all I see are these couple of segments. I see the starting segment that USC designed this form to show, and then I see a file attachment segment. Depending on which option I choose within my field, it's going to determine what more I see of this form. The form is going to dynamically unfold to show me the information that I need to see based on the process that I'm executing or the request that I'm making or the action that I'm starting. So here are some fields. A couple of these have pre-populated. One is effective date, obviously. The requested by information, that's going to be my information pre-populating there. And then I see the fiscal year. In this case, when this demo was created, that was the current fiscal year. So it's going to go ahead and pre-populate. And then again, as I go through and fill out these different fields, the form's going to respond differently. So if I want to set up a new department, now I see segments opening up for new department information. If I want to set up a new fund code, likewise, the form layout's going to change to reflect information to allow me to set up a new fund. The different prompt values that I'm presented with as I go down this first segment, those are going to be restricted based on what kinds of tasks I'm allowed to execute and what kinds of data within PeopleSoft I'm allowed to see. So based on the department that I'm in, based on the role that I'm in within the organization, will impact what values I can select in various fields. And all of that is defined as part of the form setup. I'm going to go ahead and just jump forward a minute. So I see some additional fields open up as I fill in these aspects of the form. I see related displays populate alongside the actual field values that I've selected. These are all valuable tools to make sure that users can navigate these forms effectively and efficiently without training, without documentation, without calls to the help desk. So now I'm going to go ahead and work on setting up a new fund. And there's some cool stuff that happens as a result of this here. When I get down to the fund types field, so here again, we're making sure that the information that is entered by the user is accurate and appropriate based on whatever our business rules are, based on the demands of the form. For fund types, this is going to change again how the form displays to me. So if I select fund type A for operating budget, I'm going to end up scrolling down. And I see down here, I've got the acknowledgement that I need to click on, and then I can save. You can't see it very well behind there, but I've got a save button if I'm not done with the form and I need to come back and complete it later. And I've got a submit button. If I go back and I change the fund type, the form's going to recognize, oh, well, in that case, then if you're selecting fund type E, then I need some additional information from you. These buttons down here dynamically changed. So I see now I've got the save button over here, but I don't have a submit button anymore because I'm not done with the form. It recognizes now, based on the rules that I've built into the form, that it's going to navigate to another page for some additional information. So for fund type E, I need to fill out this questionnaire. And then I've got some additional information that I need to provide as part of this request. So the form is smart enough to guide me through that process based on the requirements that we've established. If I go back though, and I change it to fund type Z, and I scroll down and I go to the next page, that next page has changed. So now instead of that questionnaire that was required for fund type E, now it's going to guide me through this questionnaire for fund type Z. So that kind of conditional behavior can be set up within the forms to manage field level behavior, segment level behavior, page level behavior, which is what we're seeing here, guiding me through different pages under different conditions, as well as workflow routing. So we can enforce conditional routing. So it's only routing to the appropriate people under the right conditions at the right time. So some very cool functionality. And this is all delivered within the GT eForms tool. We've got attachments here that we can upload. Attachments can be enforced. So if a certain requirement within my form mandates that an attachment needs to be provided, then the form will enforce that. It won't allow me to submit the form without the appropriate attachment. And again, all of that is rule-based. So there's a very powerful logic engine built into the GT eForms tool that allows you to define that logic wherever you might need it within your form process. I'm going to go ahead and stop because I know that we're running over on this.
That is usually a functional process to define those logic drivers.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Paul. So the logic engine that I just mentioned is predominantly configuration based. So a business analyst, again, can go in and define how fields populate, pre-populating and automatically defaulting, what fields change or show under certain conditions. Same with segments and pages and the workflow routing. A lot of that is configuration based.
There are also tons of hooks for you, Ben, for developers. Lots of places you can insert people code to get custom behavior.
That. So this is delivered by Oracle?
It is not. This is a purchased bolt-on.
Okay.
Yeah. So we offer it on a subscription basis.
I see. That's why you call it GTE form. Right. Got it.
Right. Yeah. So this is just a quick snapshot of some of the organizations that have used GT eForms to really deliver some cool functionality and truly innovate within their organizations, extending their PeopleSoft applications to do things that the system never intended to do. So it's very exciting to see what organizations are doing with GT eForms for any kind of online custom automation, employee self-service, manager self-service, supplier self-service, all of those things. So
instead of never intended, maybe you should say never imagined.
That's a very good point, Paul. Thank you.
Never intended sounds like we're breaking rules or something.
Well, we are. But you're right. It's probably better to refer to it as never imagined.
Can you send us that YouTube that you mentioned? We want to watch that on our own.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you can do me a favor, Ben, and if you go into our virtual booth and click on the Questopoly link in there and just fill out that form, that'll give me your contact information with your email address, and I'd be happy to email that over to you.
Sure. No problem. Thank you. Cool. Appreciate it.